Hey everyone, welcome back to Linux Weekly, daily Wednesdays where we sit back, relax, take that mid-week break, talk about some of the fun things going on in the world of Linux, open source, canning. Yes, tune in to the pre-show and post-show. You get that if you're a patron. Go pop it in because we were legitimately discussing, why is it called canning when it's in a jar? That was bugging me earlier this week. As you know, I'm Vin. That's Joe. Hi, everybody watching.
Hello.
We're going to be talking about the GIMP today. GIMP 3.0, it's out. Oh, kind of excited about that. Jill is going to give you a post-scale wrap-up. And we got calculators that are powered by Raspberry Pi stuff, a new Raspberry Pi chip, and kind of an ARM-heavy week because I'm not against a little bit of shameless self-promotion. So I'm going to tell you about what I did over on Interfacing Linux with the Rock chip and a little bit of Steam because I think it's a fun project that you can play with at home. But up first, let's go ahead and start with part one of
yes.
Jill went to a Linux conference.
Yeah. So I got a lot of love from lots of Linux people who watch LWDW and handed out many LWDW flyers of me and Ven at our Linux Chicks LA booth. I've been handing these out for the last few years. But I make sure for those who don't know that I do this podcast, that they get one of these flyers.
I thought you were going to say, yeah, I'm the one on the right.
Yeah. Yes. But Ven's looking dapper there on the left. Aw. So that was really a lot of fun. And one of the viewers who watches our show loves it so much and made me something special, which I will talk about when we start showing all the beautiful pictures I got from Scale. I took a lot of pictures.
All right, hang on. Let's see. And is that going to work? Okay, there we go. We're done. All right. I'm just messing with you.
Oh, thank you, Vin. Nice.
Here we go.
So my Linux Gamecast friends united once again at the Southern California Linux Expo Scale 22X, March 6th through 9th, 2025. That just took place 2 weeks ago. That was Mir Atomic, me and my Steve husband, and me and Monica A.N.'s Madden, who is also in chat right now, my bestie from Atlanta who works at Thunderbird. She and I had a marvelous high tea and English sandwiches for lunch at the Tea Rose Garden once again. And she adorned me with lots of amazing gifts. I'm going to show off next week because I want to do a whole review just of that. It's awesome. And the Linux Chicks LA rocked it once again at our booth. And I hadn't seen Emma in 3 years at Scale, and it was so wonderful to catch up with her again. Thank you, Emma, for my pink cosmic shirt that I am wearing right now. And me and Strider, creator of Lutris, in our chat together once again at Scale, and our booths were next to each other like last year, which is awesome. And there's a picture in there of the Linux Chicks LA and friends enjoying a nice dinner. And there were at least 100 people who actually came to our Linux Chicks LA booth raffle for ThinkPad T-Series laptop on Saturday. And that was awesome. And also there was a nice picture of Glorious Egg Roll, and Thomas had his own booth this year for Open Wine Components and Umu Launcher. And I had a nice long chat with Linux legend and friend John Mad Dog Hall once again. I love talking to him, and I got at least a half hour chat with him, which was wonderful. And also, this was the first time I was so excited, Ven. This is the first time I got to see Carl Reichel, CEO of System 76, in person. And I had a great time helping him test out user experience design for accessibility on the upcoming Rust-based Cosmic Desktop for System 76. And also, Carl gave a great talk at Scale about the progress of the in-house Cosmic Desktop, and gave me a shout out several times about our accessibility UX testing I did with him. So that was really a lot of fun. And that was actually my favorite talk of the conference as well. And our annual of let me go back. That was the favorite talk I got to see at the conference. I was only able to attend 4, which is 2 more or 3 more than I usually do. So that was nice. And our annual Linux Chick-fil-A Dead Dog Party at Scale Sunday evening. There was a picture of that when we're all tired and our feet are dead dogs. So we do that. That's our annual Dead Dog Party. We do after the festivities end at Scale every year. And we get all our friends together. That's the one place I get to see a lot of my friends together in one place, which is really cool. But last but not least, one of our youngest viewers of LWW, Frederick, who you saw a picture of, who is 13 years old, created a beautiful super Tex cart sculpture for me, complete with Tex in his red car, but instead of being in front of the steering wheel, Tex is driving the car with a Linux terminal. And it's right here. It's very fragile. And I showed it in the picture, but this is just amazing. Look at that, Ben. Isn't that so cute?
It's a super Tux racer.
Yeah. Yeah, it sure is. And, I'm going to put it right here in front of my penguin plushies, and I'm going to cherish it forever. It's so beautifully done.
What's it taste like?
I don't think I want to taste it.
Oh, okay.
No.
We'll never know.
But it's just so creative. I mean, how cool is that? He's at a Linux terminal instead of a steering wheel. Isn't that awesome? It's so cute. And he flew out from the Midwest to see me and give me that. So I was so honored. He said, I'm here, Jill, because I want to meet you. And I had seen him last year, and I was just so excited when I found out he was coming out again this year. So, yeah.
Good.
Isn't that awesome?
Times. So is there like a collective like photo album that people can go to? Does like Scale have one from like the event in general? Or do you just got to bounce around every individual person's social media?
You have to do a little bouncing on social media because the official one isn't out yet. It will be, but sometimes they wait like a month or so.
All right. But
you can go to their YouTube site, SoCal Linux Expo, and watch all the talks and all the festivities there. Yeah. So those are already up. And in fact, they have a recording from each room of the whole day of all the talks. And there are often like 10 to 15 talks going on at one time during like Saturday, Friday and Saturday. So there's a lot. And then the staff go back and separate all those individual talks to separate talks. So it's easier to watch them.
Good times.
Yeah.
So Scale YouTube channel, go check it out. If you missed it, glad everybody had a good time with that. Let me see. Right. Man, what have I been playing with? If you tuned in Saturday, I'm doing a little bit of testing. I decided to take I've been trying to move these boxes over here. My multi-year quest of like shrinking them down and getting them into something I can like pin up against the wall. And I finally got one working. I got all the glyphs hammered out for an ARM machine, an Orange Pi 5 Plus I decided to use, and it did its first test run on Saturday. It was too hot to pick up in the case what we got done, but it made it. But I ran into a problem. I ran into a little bit of a roadblock. Welcome to another episode of I'm upset with Wayland. I'm trying to love Wayland. I have to use Wayland on these machines for the graphical acceleration bits inside of the Mali G610 inside of the SoC. Can't use X11. So I'm being forced to learn Wayland. I'm learning about it.
Wow.
And a program I use in the studio, like right now, if I want to, like if I switch to Jill and I hold down Alt F2, I can poke her in the nose, take my cursor, and just move it over here. I can go poke this penguin over here. It's not a problem. It's piece cake. And if I hit Alt F1, I'm back on the main box, and I've hit Alt 2, Alt 3, it switches around to all the PCs in the studio because I have to access them. And it is a program called Barrier. It's the open source, offshoot of Synergy. I'm like, okay. I knew there was a new one because Barrier development has stalled. I need this software because I used to have a KVM switch setup, KVM switch. What do I mean? What's a modern KVM switch? It's that USB hub thing now. Where you plug in the one keyboard, one mouse, and it's got a bunch of ports on the back, and you can click, 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 click. Very annoying, a lot of cables. And this is all IP based. It works on the network. It's great. Keeps everything working. But it didn't work with Wayland. So I was like, okay, I need one that works with Wayland. And I ran across, which is like the project, DeskFlow. DeskFlow is awesome. Why? They have a flat pack. It works with Barrier. No problems. Just installed, cut it on. It worked. And I thought all was good. Then I met my new enemy. Joe Bryant, this is my new enemy right here.
Uh-oh.
This application wants to capture input events window from GNOME.
Oh.
Now, apparently this has been a problem with PlayStation controllers, like hooking up on Steam and Wayland and all this.
Yeah.
This is such a problem. There's a $5,000 bounty to find a way around this with Wayland right now. What's the problem? All right. So I get the program to start up on, let's say, Jill's machine. That window pops up. I'm trying to use a KVM switch, so to avoid having a keyboard and mouse plugged into the machine. So guess what I don't have plugged into that machine to click allow remote capturing?
Yeah.
Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, plug in a mouse and click, then unplug, and like, that seems a bit roundabout. So this is my current roadblock of like magnificent frustration trying to find a way around this. And this is not necessarily a GNOME issue. It's also a problem in KDE, but I was reading GNOME's kind of been GNOME about it. They're like, that's not a real problem, deal with it. And it looks like KDE is doing some work to add a persistent setting to that, because it blew my mind that there's not like, remember this, right?
Yeah.
It's like, remember this connection, this device, and like just always, no, that doesn't exist. So
no config file.
No way around it. No way around it. I was like, man. So baby steps. That was my little bit of frustration this week. But you saw the headline. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago. I've been using it for about 2 months now. I've been using the release candidates, and Jill's going to tell you about the actual announcement.
Yeah, so this is great news. As we talked about a few weeks ago, which Ben just mentioned on LWDW episode 461, our favorite graphics editor on Linux, GIMP, has now officially turned 3.0. Woohoo! We've waited a long time for this. And as we talked about before during the release of the GNU Image Manipulation Program 3.0 Release Candidate 3, GIMP 3.0 now has the ability to do non-destructive layer effects and editing like other popular industry standard graphic editors, like Photoshop. And GIMP 3.0 has a very clean interface using GTK 3.0, and you can now click the mouse scroll wheel to flip through dockable dialog tabs. I had tested this, and it works really great. That was such a very simple but nice solution to moving around.
It's maddening.
Yeah,
also,
it's maddening. I guess Ben didn't like it.
No, it's frustrating when you have like 15 tabs open and you're working on something, and all I'm thinking this entire time, this is better. This is a step in the right direction, Joe Bright.
Nice. Okay.
They still need to add Control Tab to let me go through those tabs like I can on any web. If you didn't know you got a bunch of tabs open right now, you know what? Go hit Control Tab and go, oh, you're like, yeah, it just saved you a bunch of time.
Yeah, you did. That's awesome. And there's also a new splash screen, of course, for this major release of GIMP 3.0, and a new logo at launch, and a refresh of Wilbur. Wilbur is the GIMP mascot, and he's so cute. He's very modern looking now, and a new icon theme.
He's got such weird looking tongue.
Yeah, yeah, it's a paintbrush. Paintbrush tongue.
It's going to be difficult to talk like that.
Wilbur the dog with a paintbrush tongue.
That's supposed to be, I said, all right, I just assumed it was a thing, man. All right, I honestly never knew Wilbur was supposed to be a canine.
Yeah. I found that out from one of the creators of GIMP at Scale, actually. years ago. So, it's the theme looks great on high DPI monitors, which is really wonderful. I was running it. I've got two 49-inch ultra wides running at 5K, and the GIMP looks really nice on these monitors. Of course, I have them scaling up a little higher so I can read those fonts, but it looked really good. And better dark theme support. Yes, we all like that. And there's improved color management, more file formats are supported, and the GIMP 3.0 looks better on tablets.
Yeah, not these absolute serial killers over at Tom Hardware. I've never seen GIMP with a non-dark theme, and I'm like, why?
Yeah, I know.
Why would you ever do that?
Yeah.
That's like using Discord with the light theme, dude. And like,
I know. Horrible. Oh, my aching rods and cones. Burns your eyes. And GIMP 3.0 is available to download as an official app image, as a flat pack from flathub.org, or as a source tarball for compiling. And I want to thank our Theron for posting this in our show suggestions on our Discord before I even had a chance to wake up that morning here in SoCal. He had it posted already because he's at least 8 hours ahead of me in Europe.
I've been playing with it. Like I said, I use GIMP a lot, not just for like thumbnails and all that, but for like all the art assets for all the videos that I do. And like I've been we were talking about compiling programs before we started recording the show and the pre-show. GIMP was like one of the first programs that I managed to get to compile, like learning like way back in the day. And we're talking like 90s here, 1990s. Like, ooh, this is pretty cool. So couple of quality of life changes that I am a big fan of. Pro quality, air quotes around pro quality text. To style it, your outlines, your shadows, bevels, and more. You can now edit all that without having to bust it apart and redoing it.
Yeah.
Because you would create a text element, you'd get it styled, maybe shadowed, change your font and all that, and you're like, boom. And GIMP was like, that's a thing now. And I'm like, I made a typo. And it was like, well, too bad. You want to tear it apart and redo all that? Now you don't have to worry about that anymore. I really like that. Joe was talking about
non-destructive editing.
I know, man. High DPI support. Legacy icons got some touch-ups because, if you're like me, you open GIMP, wondering like, what is this nonsense? There's two things I think probably over 50% of users do. Disable tab group, the icon grouping, because I'm like, where'd all my stuff go? And change it back to the traditional icon set that I've learned over the past 20 plus years. They've even cleaned that up on high DPI displays. It looks really good now.
Yeah.
Really glad to see that. Still missing full CMYK. They're working on it though. They're like, now we got this out. Like maybe before I'm in the ground. Non-destructive editing. Still said. It's clunky. I'm not going to pretend it's not. It is solving a lot of problems by everything you do as a layer now. It's a layer, that's a layer, that's a layer, that's a layer, which comes with its own unique set of problems, especially when you're trying to copy elements between layers. Sometimes you just got to be like, wait, and like, maybe I'm just going to right click on this and manually copy it because it's just not feeling those keyboard shortcuts at the moment. And like, it'll get over there. And sometimes you just got to duplicate the layer, but it does for the most part work. And the accelerated effect, man, the GEGL stuff.
Yeah, giggle.
Go find it. I dare you. Where's it at? Is it under plugins? Is it under filters? Like, no. It's not. You got to go under tools. It's under tools. It's under tools in another menu, and it opens up another menu with another drop-down menu to get to it. Like it's hidden, dude. Put that over with the plugins, guys. Come on. Like, that's going to throw some people off.
The script foo.
Well, I mean, you go to your plugins like, the shadow effect, whatever. That's where I was looking for. I'm like, where? I had to go look up where this thing was because I knew it was in here. And I'm like, it's under tools. And then there's another pop-out menu, which opens another dialog menu with a drop-down menu. Like, come on.
Yeah. A little too many steps there.
It is there though. I mean, if you power your way through it, you can get to it and play around with it, which is great. So my big takeaway, it's heavier. It's been roughly, 4,000 to 6,000 years since GIMP 2.0 came out. I forget how many millennia it's been. Going from GTK2.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's been a minute, right?
Yeah.
And we're moving to GTK3. It's a heavier application now. Maybe some of that's going to get trimmed down. It's going to get optimized in time. But, the first thing I noticed is it's no longer like the snappy, lightweight, like do-do-do. And this is on the box here in the studio I do editing on. It's a 1920X Threadripper with a 3060 running X11. Wayland support's supposedly better than this, but I use X on this production box. And that alignment tool, which I make a heavy use of, is broken, son. It don't work right. It has its own idea of what alignment is. Now, it tries to do very clever things. I think I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. Like, say we're doing this shot, right? And I'm making a thumbnail, and I want a picture of, like, I don't know, like me going, or something like that. And and Jill's like later in the show, like holding up, a penguin card that she has no idea what it tastes like. And I'm like, okay, yeah, right. And like, I want to stick those two together. So I'm just going to cut this image that you're like, this makes no sense for the audio listeners, but I'm just going to slice it down the middle, and I'm going to take this left shot and just paste it over to the right. Or I'm just going to capture that. It's pretty clever now at going, I'm just going to assume that you want to put this in this next image where you copied it from without like trying to like dead center it or anything like that. And it works. However, when I take something and I'm like, boom, I need, let me put this out and I need to align this like to the top or bottom. It's off, dude. It's off. And I don't know what they've changed, what I need to learn. But, just from somebody been using GIMP for 20 plus years, I'm like, I don't understand. And sometimes like selecting with the square, which is my typical, the rectangle tool.
Yeah.
It has like another bonus button that you need to click because I'm like, why are you not working? And it's doing its best to try to tell me. It's like highlighting this little thing in the dialog menu. I'm like, why do I need to click on you now? What's going on?
Oh, so okay. Yeah.
It's usable. There's still some rough edges, but app image, flat pack, try before you buy. Go play around with it. It's familiar enough to where it's not going to throw you some curveballs. And this is a big push. And they did say that they're going to try to stick to, a more frequent.
Yeah, more frequent cadence of updates. Yeah.
Which is fantastic to hear, because when you go that long, you think, well, there's always going to be some big changes. So good job, everybody involved in this. Yeah.
And Ven probably created our beautiful new backdrop of the pink circuit board on the red background.
I made all of that this morning.
Yay. Cool.
Just as a test. That entire element, it doesn't look like it, but let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 layers,
nice.
Like 9 elements in it stacked together. And it's usable. There's nothing broken with it. Some quality of life stuff. So I'm happy to see it. GIMP.org. Go play around with it. You know what? At the end of the day, I'll take this over having to tango with Inkscape.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Any day of the week. Any day of the week. Nothing against Inkscape at all, but like, man, that interface is like challenging. Now, a little bit of pie news, because
we got lots of pie news.
Don't you love scientific calculators? They're cool to look at. They're cool to watch other people play with, because I don't like them. Never did like them. I hated having to buy one way back when. I'm like, because I knew at no point in my life was I ever going to be in a position where I needed one. I knew enough about myself as a teenager. I'm like, that is not the path of education that I'll be going down, because I'm pretty bad at maths. However, this is a little bit of the old need. It is. Pico Calc kit. We're talking about this. Well, it's only $75, and I mean, it absolutely looks the business. And what do you get for $75? Not just like a prototype kit to whatever. No, you get a 320 by 324-inch IPS screen, backlit, I2C connected keyboard, SD card hold, 8 megs of PS RAM, dual speakers, all powered by a pair of 18650s. And you don't have to worry. You don't have to go to the vape shop and buy a charger. No, it's got a charging circuit built into it. And they're not really clear on the software bits, but the TTD, which is Time Till Doom, is probably going to be pretty short on this critter. And this is injection molded. This is not 3D printed. Nothing wrong with 3D printed, but like this is something you can stick together, and it's got a nice chiclet keyboard. $75, people.
Yeah, that's such a great option for students who spend well over $200 on the Texas Instruments.
Well, to be clear, they won't let you use this.
Oh,
they won't.
Too bad.
There's a approved list that I'm sure Texas
Yeah.
Instruments had no small part in, paying people off.
Sure.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
This is, I don't know what it is currently. Last time I checked in on it, maybe our things have changed, but the Pico 1H core, 32-bit dual core, Cortex M0. So, you get 2 megs of flash on that. Jill, you like those dual speakers? Make a little beatbox out of it?
I do. Well, that was the first thing dual speakers. I wonder why it has dual speakers. Well, like Ven was saying, all the better to play Doom with. I mean, come on, it's going to happen soon.
Right? 100% tempered glass cover on this thing. And again, $75. Like this looks more like a Game Boy than a scientific calculator, but
it does.
It's got all the right keys to make it do the things. And I wanted to give it a mention. A little something you could stick together. The 18650s are not included. Also, I'm a little bit worried about that because, if you're unfamiliar, what am I doing right now? I'm opening a little Vapotron thing right now.
Oh.
This is an 18650. This guy that I'm holding up, that's an 18650. This is a lithium cell that they're kind of dodgy to buy because nobody who makes these sells them directly to consumers because they're not really something that you're supposed to have lying around the house. Now, why is that? One of these little critters, and I say one of these little critters, sparks up. You don't have anything in your house that's going to be able to put this out.
It explodes.
It just burns. It's a lithium battery. It's just going to keep burning until it's bored. And you're going to deal with it. The way you get rid of it's try to get it outside. Kind of like if a lithium battery pack, like in your mobile phone, you just get it outside. Pouring water on it's not going to work. So if you do, go pick up, because you can buy, they're not illegal to buy or anything like that. Sony makes them in different types of 18650s. Be extraordinarily careful with these. They are not AA's. Do not keep them in your pocket. Don't keep them bouncing around in a drawer where they're going to spark off, or you will end up in a bad situation. So there is my standard warning for anybody messing around with 18650s, 21700s, or any type of battery like that. And there you go, $75. Go play with it. Vapotron is back together. It's even got Bluetooth. I'm not even joking. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I just bought that on a whim. I'm like, why is this thing got Bluetooth? This is silly. Why doesn't it have an IR receiver on it?
Yeah.
Jill, tell me about this 2350 though.
Oh, this is cool. So Eben Upton, Raspberry Pi CEO, just announced the RP2350, a high performance and secure microcontroller, is now available. The RP2350 debuted on the Raspberry Pi Pico 2. That was $5. The single board computer that we talked about last summer here on LWDW, and that chip is really awesome. It's very fast for how small it is and very secure. And they even had a hackathon to make sure that it was very secure. So they sponsored a hackathon in the community for people to do penetration testing. So that's pretty cool. And Eben Upton states on the Raspberry Pi News blog, RP2350 integrates dual ARM Cortex M33 processors running at 150 megahertz with floating point and DSP support and security and a security model built on ARM Trust Zone for Cortex-M. These powerful cores, coupled with large amounts of on-chip SRAM and our unique programmable input-output subsystem, make it an excellent fit for applications which require high performance, flexible interfacing, and robust security, from industrial automation to consumer electronics. Despite its impressive feature set, RP2350's sub $1 pricing allows for integration into high volume, low cost end devices. Woohoo! This is just going to be great for industrial and automation and those of you making your own home projects with Raspberry Pi chips.
Well, it's definitely one of those things that you, like they say, like right there in the blog goes like, this is how much they cost for a reel of them.
Yeah, a reel of them, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, they sell in lots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like buying like a sleeve of old Atmel chips. I used to buy those all the time, like just a tube of them. Like,
just a tube of them.
Yeah, they're kind of disposable, super cheap. You're probably going to see them in like, fun little handheld projects.
Mm-hmm.
Always down for it. Good to see Raspberry Pi. Now, how much time we got? Oh, okay. I'm gonna try to make it quick, everybody. So, past couple of weeks, I just got it in my head that I was going to get Steam up and running, not on a Raspberry Pi. Why? Too easy. I'm a defective human being. I see something that's too easy. I'm like, that's boring. I don't care. What would be hard and take me a couple of weeks to figure out? Oh, right. Let's use one of these Rockchip 3588 powered boards I have laying around the house. And I did. That's where we're at right now. So if you have a not Raspberry Pi, if you have an Orange Pi, if you have a Rasda Rock 5, that Collabra is working on upstreaming this chip. This is why I'm fascinated by the 3588 that's in the middle of this particular board here. Because Collabra is upstreaming, getting all this stuff built into the Linux kernel. Like they are bent on making this happen, making it like a complete open source stack. And I'm here for it, man.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to generate, look at this, Half-Life, Broforce, HoloNet.
Broforce.
You see all that running?
Yeah.
And it's not running on that with a Voodoo 5500. No, it's just running on this little chip. Because, hey, man, this is what I see on YouTube. This is what I see on YouTube, man. It's a couple of videos of people showing Steam running on ARM, but how are they doing it? Well, they're doing it on a big, expensive, like Ampere system with a discrete GPU plugged into it. And I'm like, how do you get to play around with that at home, man? That's no fun. I want to get Steam up and running on something I might have laying around, or like something that's like $100. So that's the whole point of that. Isn't that right, Steve Buscemi? That's right. I put together a guide, about 6 steps to get everything together. And I decided to use the Orange Pi 5 Plus because it's the fastest 3588 that I have laying around the house. And I went digging around for like existing guides. This is like part 2 of getting me to do something. The guides were out of date. They were just incorrect. They had people compiling stuff from source that didn't need to be compiled from source. Or sometimes they were just a mixture of like all of those smashed together. And I'm like, no. We can simplify this. And that's what I did. I boiled it down to make it just copy and paste, basically. You're like, I just want to try Steam on my single board computer that is powered by, a Rockchip device. I'm going to hook you up with this. And Box 64, Box 86, it's doing most of the heavy lifting at the end of the day. But it's going to let you play Linux native games using your Vulkan and your OpenGL. Performance, kind of a bit all over the place here. Let's just go ahead and bump up because everybody wants to see Half-Life running on a single board computer. There it is. 60 FPS at 720p. Now it's dialed down to fugly.
Yeah, but it works.
It's playable. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not about playability. I say this in the video. We're not really focused on playable at this point. What we're focused on is like, this is so cool. That's where we're at right now. Because this is a x86 64 application running on ARM. And it's a game. And it's 3D accelerated. Look, there's Vampire Survivors. See, stuff like that you would expect to kind of run, right? And Broforce, you would expect it to kind of run. But what if you wanted to play Knights of the Old Republic? Guess what?
Yeah,
that
there
runs.
you go. That's nice.
That runs. That's not a problem. What if you want to play your hipster pixel boomer shooters? Yeah, that's a moose, apparently. I had to look up what I blew up there. I'm like, oh, it's a moose. All right. And a game Jill knows, Distance.
Yes. One of my favorites. It looks a little fugly, but...
Yeah, it does. What I said in the video, there's some games that, survive having all the settings cranked down to low. This is just saying one of them.
Yeah.
But it's staying above 30 FPS at 720p.
Yeah, it works.
And here's Neverwinter Nights Enhanced Edition. This is with all the graphical settings cut all the way up, getting about 13 FPS. I'm like, ooh, that's rough.
Ooh.
Let's just cut everything down to low. Don't look that much different. This is one of the games that, it's an older game, but yeah, it jumps right up to 60 FPS.
Nice.
Very playable. And of course, Besiege Murder Legos is, this is a game I had no idea. I had no expectations of it to run. And it does. Like, it bounces
Sweet.
between, 40 to 60, depending on what you're doing. Yeah, I had a fun time making this, and hopefully people are going to find it informative if you got one of these devices laying around, because you can get these single board computers, a rock chip powered something or other for about $100. And, this one, you don't need that ribbon cable Raspberry Pi. It's got an NVMe slot built into it. This particular board's got like 16 gigs of RAM, but, 8 gig, 4 gig might be pushing it. Definitely want to get like 8 gigs.
8 gigs.
Yeah, dude. And Razda makes them, Orange Pi makes them, Banana Pi, all the other places, Odroid, whoever, you can get a rock chip powered device. And you want a rock chip in your arsenal, because they are just getting very interesting and very neat. And by the end of this year, they're just effectively going to be like the mainlined single board SoC that we're going to see, thanks to all the work that developers and Collabora, they're just bent on getting this thing done. I'm following their GitLab, and they are just crushing it every day, getting this stuff. Also, I'm fascinated because I have two of my rock chip boards are in the configuration to where they have HDMI encoders built into them. Yeah.
Nice.
Like
sweet
capture cards.
Yeah.
They don't really work that well right now, but they're getting there. They're getting there. I'm fascinated stuff like this. Just, it's fun to play with, fun to tinker with. Armbian is the operating system. If you have a single board computer that is not a Raspberry Pi, go to Armbian, download Armbian for your board. Don't download whatever the Orange Pi, the Banana Pi, whatever hacked up operating system that they've got pieced together that's like balanced on little slices of glass that immediately breaks the second you update it. Get Armbian. It works, gets the job done. So, yeah, go check that out. Interfacinglinux.com, along with a gang of other stuff that I got. Just trying to help people out, man. Let's just get back to that. Let's get back to having some fun, making some guides, and doing some fun videos. And man, I got one. I was hoping to show it off today, but as is tradition, if I was expecting something, we're going to get like a 4 or 5. So maybe by this time next week, I'll have a mysterious little box for this next project I'm working on, because it's quite fascinating. Oh, there we go. All right, a little bit long, but we had a bit to cover this week.
Yeah,
and we did. We got it taken care of. You like the show, you want to become one of the awesome people, our really super important patrons over at patreon.com/Linux Gamecast. You can do that probably by going to where I just said, patreon.com/Linux Gamecast. And, I finally added instructions. If you click on the live tab on Linux Gamecast, there's how you get into our super secret Discord.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
If you're a Patreon subscriber, a Twitch subscriber, or a paid YouTube subscriber, which is weird on YouTube because you subscribe to channels, right?
Yeah.
You can link that up. Come hang out with us in Discord the other 6 days of the week. I do Trackmania on Tuesdays, and I do Trackmania on Fridays, but it's role-playing, RPG, adventure time. Jordan and Sandy are doing streaming on Thursdays. We do this show on Wednesdays, and of course, Linux Gamecast Saturday, right here on Twitch. And, even like last week, I occasionally get a chance to do something a bit silly, like, hey, let's compile Sonic.
Sonic.
Live.
Yeah, that was
And
fun.
see if it works, having no idea whether or not it was going to work on that hardware. But it did. It worked on your box. The box that you're at right now.
That's so cool.
The
That's so cool.
5600G. Ran it like a champ. All right, beautiful people. It's time to cue that bouncy stuff and bounce out of here. Yeah.
And thank our beautiful patrons, including our advisor, Arthurian. Yay, Arthurian. Our executive producers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, drummer, the Targos, Barbrandt, Scott. Our Chicago Kicks Mules level, Glorious Egg Roll, Basil, Empty, Casey Clism. Our Sea Monsters, Veritanuda, Treggy, Mike. Our Death Notes, Martin, Renee, Turnover, Chad, Romeo, Zeno. Our Chairlings, Mir PPC, Mr. Alert, Jack. And yeah, I'm sorry, I can't name them all that quickly. All our beautiful patrons. So we have so many.
Tragedy.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Have a great rest of your week. Get out there, get into something, have some fun, and we'll be back next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Love you all.